Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Fridays with the Fiddle Fig, where we cover common questions, misconceptions, and myths related to real estate. I'm John with the Selby team, and this week's question is... What do you do with solar panels during the sale or after the sale of a home? So there's three ways that solar panels are put on to a home. There's a solar lease, there's owned solar panels with a personal loan on the panels or for the panels, and then there's owned outright where the seller pays for the panels in full themselves, they own them. So how it works is with a solar lease, you're hiring a company who owns these panels to put those on the property where you're getting quoted a monthly amount. It's going to cost $150 a month to have our panels on your property, and that's all you pay towards your electric bill every month. What that means is for a buyer, they have to transfer it, so they have to contact the solar company and let them know that they are actually purchasing said property. The buyer then has to actually qualify for these solar panels, so they have to submit an application to the solar company making sure that they're able to actually afford the lease that they're being given on the panels. They're then locked into a monthly rate, which is usually blocked out for a certain amount of years, and then there's contractual increases in that as we know power will go up over time, so they'll have those increases. And there's a few things that this can do. It can cause snags in the escrow process. Fortunately we're far enough down the road, these solar leases have been around for a while, that we're not seeing the issues quite as often. But we have experienced times where they will delay. The solar companies take their time transferring the leases over, and the lenders won't actually close until the lease is properly transferred, because the last thing they want is they want a buyer to own a property that the seller still holds the lease for the solar panels on. So we were finding that a huge issue 5 or 6 years ago. Now it's not becoming a crazy issue, but we did actually just recently have an issue where a buyer just took a little bit too much time, too long to actually submit that request in. And it almost caused a delay in the close of escrow, but fortunately we were able to work with the solar company and work through that. So that's a leased system. So a lease system, you definitely want to be on top of it. Know up front when you submit the offer that you're going to have to hit the ground running to make sure that that lease is transferred into your name. And if you do that, everything should be good. So the next one is, if you own the panels outright, or so the seller owns the panels outright, that means that they put solar panels on the roof and they've either paid for it, in full when they did it on there, or that over the years they'd already paid off that lease, or sorry, that loan on it. And so what that means is it directly transfers with the sale, so there's no additional paperwork that needs to be done. The buyers get the benefit, or whoever's the owner of the property gets the benefit, because they have little to no monthly payment for electricity, but they are responsible for the maintenance of any of those panels and any repairs that may need to be done, or upgrades that need to be done to the panel. And then the last one would be if you have owned solar panels, so they're not a lease, but you're holding a loan on it. So a bank or credit union is giving you, or giving the owner of that at time, a loan. In this scenario, the new buyer will actually have to apply to that bank to basically assume the loan from the seller, and so they'll have to go through a credit check, a loan application, but they're going through the bank, as opposed to a solar company, and they'll be responsible for the maintenance of the panels. They'll get the benefits, so no electric bill or little electric bill, and they'll own those panels once they've paid them off. So there's usually a set time, 10 years, 5 years, 15 years, whatever it is, on how long it's going to take them to pay off those panels. They have a set payment they know about, and then they'll get the benefit when it comes to selling the property. Hopefully the next time there won't be any sort of loan on it, and they can take the whole value of the lease, or of the panels. Another option in this scenario is we see is sellers will pay off the lease, or sorry, the loan up front, right at the close of escrow with their proceeds. They pay off the loan, so the new buyer actually assumes the solar panels with no loan at all. Or the buyers have also paid it off too before. They come in saying, hey, look, I don't want to pay it anymore, and they'll pay a big chunk up front for that. So that's this week's episode of Friday with the Fiddle Fig. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, if you like our page, follow us on Instagram. If you want us to cover a specific topic, comment below or send us an email, and we will happily cover one of your questions or your misconceptions or myths about real estate in a future episode. We'd love to hear from you, and take care. See you next week. I'm not playing tug-of-war with you. Drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, you dirty dog. Get it.